A massive asteroid, the same size as the one that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago, is on a direct collision course with Earth. This isn't a movie plot. It's our new reality. What happens next? Billions of tons of rock, traveling faster than a speeding bullet, tear through our atmosphere. The friction generates an unimaginable amount of heat, turning the asteroid into a colossal fireball. Asteroid is Chicxulub, a crater dozens of miles wide and several miles deep, is instantly carved into the Earth's crust. The energy released is thousands of times more powerful than all the world's nuclear weapons combined. The initial shockwave is a silent, invisible wall of force, moving at supersonic speeds. It flattens everything in its path for hundreds, even thousands of miles. Cities are turned to dust in the blink of an eye. Buildings, bridges, forests all vaporized. If you're anywhere near the impact zone, it's instant annihilation. But the destruction has only just begun. For those further away, the ground would heave and shake with the force of a mega-earthquake, a magnitude 10 or 11 on the Richter scale, far beyond anything modern civilization has ever experienced. This would trigger secondary disasters across the globe. Volcanoes, dormant for centuries, might roar back to life, spewing more ash and gas into the already choked atmosphere. If the asteroid hits an ocean, and there's a 70% chance it will, the consequences are biblical. The impact would displace a staggering volume of water, creating mega-tsunamis. These aren't just waves. They are moving mountains of water, hundreds of feet high, racing across oceans at the speed of a jetliner. The world's coast people will begun. The impact ejects trillions of tons of pulverized rock, dust, and debris high into the stratosphere. This material spreads around the globe, forming a thick, impenetrable blanket that blocks out the sun. The sky turns dark, not for a day or a week, but for months, possibly even years. This is the beginning of an impact winter. Without sunlight, photosynthesis stops. Plants and phytoplankton, the foundation of nearly every food chain on the planet, die off. Global temperatures plummet, plunging the Earth into a deep freeze. Even in the tropics, temperatures could drop below freezing. Snow would fall in the Sahara Desert. Rivers and lakes would freeze solid. For humanity, this is the ultimate survival test. Agriculture collapses worldwide. With no sun, crops fail. Livestock, with nothing to eat, perish. The global food supply chain, so fragile and interconnected, disintegrates in a matter of weeks. Famine, on an unprecedented scale, would sweep the planet. Those who survived the initial impact, the earthquakes, and the tsunamis would now face a new, slower, and more grueling threat: starvation and cold. Ecosystems, finely tuned over millennia, would unravel. Herbivores would starve without plants, and carnivores would follow soon after. The mass extinction event that killed the dinosaurs would be happening all over again, but this time we're on the list of endangered species. Our complex societies would crumble. Without power, communication, or transport, governments would lose control. It would be a tad brutale existence where they vanade. So, could we do anything to stop it? Could our modern technology save us? This is where the story gets interesting. Scientists are not just sitting around waiting for this to happen. The field of planetary defense is very real. We have powerful telescopes scanning the skies every night, searching for near-Earth objects, or NEOs. We successfully smashed a spacecraft into an asteroid millions of miles away to alter its course. It sounds like we have a fighting chance, right? Well, it depends. The key is early detection. If we spot an asteroid like this decades in advance, we might have a shot. We could launch a series of kinetic impactors like the DART spacecraft to nudge it off course over time. In a more extreme scenario, some have proposed using nuclear devices to vaporize part of the asteroid's surface, creating a rocket-like thrust to push it away. But here's the terrifying catch. What if we don't have decades? What if we only have a few years, or worse, a few months' notice? The sheer size and velocity of a dinosaur killer would make it incredibly difficult to deflect. A single kinetic impactor wouldn't be enough. We'd need a coordinated, global effort on a scale never before seen, launching multiple missions simultaneously. And the nuclear option, it's risky. A poorly executed blast could shatter the asteroid into multiple large fragments, creating a shotgun blast of impacts instead of just one. We might turn a single bullet into a cluster bomb, making the situation even worse. So, let's assume the worst. Deflection fails and impact is imminent. What then? Our survival would depend on preparation. Humanity's best hope would be to go underground. Governments and private organizations would race to construct massive, self-sustaining bunkers deep beneath the Earth's surface. These aren't your backyard fallout shelters. We're talking about underground cities capable of housing thousands of people for years, maybe even decades. These shelters would need their own power sources, like geothermal or nuclear reactors. They'd need advanced hydroponic and aeroponic farms to grow food without sunlight, water recycling systems, air filtration to scrub the toxic atmosphere, and vast stores of medical supplies, tools, and knowledge would be essential. The selection of who gets a spot in these arcs would be one of the most difficult and heart-wrenching decisions in human history. Scientists, engineers, doctors, farmers, the best and brightest, chosen to carry the torch of civilization. For the vast majority of humanity left on the surface, survival would be a desperate struggle. People would seek refuge in subway tunnels, deep caves, and mine shafts. It would be a dark, cold, and brutal world. But humanity is resilient. We survived the last ice age with nothing but stone tools and fire. Eventually, after months or years, the dust in the atmosphere would begin to settle. Sunlight, weak at first, would return to the Earth. This would be a new dawn for our planet. The world that emerges would be alien and hostile. The climate would be wildly unpredictable, but it would be a chance to rebuild. The survivors emerging from their underground shelters would be like colonists on a new planet. They would carry with them the accumulated knowledge of our civilization, science, art, history, ready to plant the seeds of a new world on the ashes of the old. Studying this scenario isn't just a fascinating thought experiment. It highlights the incredible fragility of our existence. We live on a tiny, beautiful rock, flying through a cosmic shooting gallery. Events like this have happened before, and they will happen again. But unlike the dinosaurs, we have a unique advantage: foresight. The question is, are we wise enough to do it? Our survival might depend not just on our technology, but on our ability to cooperate as a species to put aside our differences and work together to protect our only home. So, what do you think? If we had warning of a dinosaur-killing asteroid, could we band together and survive? Or is humanity destined to become the next chapter in Earth's long history of extinction? Let me know your survival plan in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring these mind-bending scenarios, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.